Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Yashar Allah. Call Holoyam La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Harakan Kodash, for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwaf that's keeping the faith in the works. Y'all keep at it. So Brother Abaya coming at you with more precepts. This is Obadiah, verse 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith Yahweh power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Right? Speaking about Esau, Edom. More so, speaking about Amalek, which is like the head tribe of Esau, Edom. The Most High is telling us that He will put the nations against Esau, Edom, and they will go against Esau, Edom in battle. That battle being that third woe. That third woe being World War III. Right? If it's prophesied in the scriptures, then guess what? That means it's going to happen. Right? The Lord is not a man that He should lie. Right? The Lord tells the truth. If He says it, it will come to pass. Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that He hath taken against Edom, and His purposes that He hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The least of the flock shall draw them out. All right. So let's see who this least of the flock is.
Most times it's the United Nations. They may not have an impressive track record, but they're all that we have. Not in this war. When two countries fight, who do we call to settle it? Most times it's the United Nations. They may not have an impressive track record, but they're all that we have. Not in this war, though, because Israel wants nothing to do with the UN. They've accused United Nations officials of siding with Hamas. Their airstrikes have killed dozens of UN staff, and now they have banned the United Nations chief from entering Israel. It is an unprecedented situation. And don't get us wrong, no one here is a fan of the United Nations. They have failed to prevent conflicts in most parts of the world. But what explains this open animosity, this relentless targeting of UN officials by Israel? Our next report tells you.
Israel is fighting on many fronts, in Gaza, in Lebanon, and maybe soon against Iran. But away from West Asia, it's also fighting a different kind of war, against the United Nations in New York. Israel fired the latest salvo this week. They declared the UN chief, Antonio Guterres, persona non grata, meaning he's banned from entering Israel. The official reason is that Guterres did not blame Iran for the recent escalation, but frankly, it was brewing for a while. The UN has been critical of Israel's war in Gaza, especially Guterres. The tiff began with his comments after the Hamas attack in October last year.
This most recent violence does not come in a vacuum. The reality is that it grows out of a long-standing conflict with a 56-year-long occupation and no political end in sight.
That was before Israel began attacking. Since the war started, his criticism has only grown.
The time has come for action. Action to end this god-awful nightmare. Gaza is becoming a graveyard for children. Nothing can justify the collective punishment of the Palestinian people.
Naturally, Israel wasn't happy. They said Guterres wasn't fit to lead the UN. But these remarks alone did not trigger Israel. Let me introduce the UNRWA, the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine. They distribute humanitarian aid in Gaza, and to do that, they hire from the local population. Israel claims that some UNRWA staff were involved in the Hamas attack, and they may have been right. In August, the UN fired 9 staff members in Gaza. Why? Because of possible involvement with Hamas.
So what this is sounding like is Revelation chapter 17. because we all understand what major nation is backing Israel. Even if they don't want to deal with the United Nations, they know one country got their back no matter what. And that country being the daughter of Babylon. Right? Revelation chapter 17 and verse 1 says, "And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication." Right? So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Right? And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Right? So the daughter of Babylon being America. Right? America being the backing of that Esau, Edom that's spoken of in Obadiah, spoken of in Isaiah 13, that have been made small. Right? Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15 says, "And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For power hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of power shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth." Right? So the daughter of Babylon's allies are going to turn against the daughter of Babylon. Why? Because of these individuals that have been made small and have become hated, right, by the rest of the nations. Why? Because their name always ends stuff. The name always attached to wars, always attached to financial crisis, is always attached to some chaotic event, right? Because we understand that their motto, right? Their motto being Ordo ab Chaos, right? Let me see. Okay, let me let this video play on out.
This is done, right? Well, not for Israel. They've been targeting aid centers and schools. Their strikes have killed 220 UN staff in Gaza. It's been another point of friction. The UN says that Israel is targeting its workers. Israel says the UN is biased.
Until the Jewish state is treated like other nations, until this anti-Semitic swamp is drained, the UN will be viewed by fair-minded people everywhere as nothing more than a contemptuous farce.
See that right there, that right there, man. That's what make the nations hate them, man. They're anti-Semitics, right? Anything that goes against the narrative that they spew out is anti-Semitics. They got their hands in everything but play victim, right? Jeremiah 49:14. I've heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, Gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. Right? Once again, if the Lord said it, then it's going to be, and we seeing it.
It's frankly ironic because Israel was created by the UN. In 1947, the General Assembly voted to partition Palestine. 55% of the land was given to Jewish people. Thus, the State of Israel was born.
See, they don't boast on that. They speak on everything else, but they don't speak about that because those are false individuals, right? Those are pseudo people, right? Psalms 83. In verse 1, keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. That crafty counsel is taking the name of the Most High's people, right? Taking what they perceive to be the Most High's people's land, in which it is, but it's way more than what they claiming, right? Verse 4 says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, right? But the Most High is flipping the script, right? The curses that were on us is now leaving us and going to these different nations, even though we're still under them curses because we're not in Shiloh, right? We're not in our peace. We're not, Yahweh Shai is not physically on this earth, taking the kingdoms out of the devil's hands and placing them in the hands of the righteous, right? 2 Ezra 6:9, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right? But meantime, between time, we are seeing the fall of our enemies, and it's a joyous thing to see.
But today, the UN and Israel are at each other's throats. The UN cannot ignore the blatant abuses in Gaza and Lebanon, and Israel must defend itself when accused. But to ban the UN chief? It's unlikely to be a popular strategy. Most of the world agrees that the UN is ineffective, but no one calls it evil or anti-Semitic. After all, the UN is just a middleman. Even Israel's ally, the United States, realizes this.
Israel capped his statement this morning that Antonio Guterres will be banned from entering Israel. Do you have any response to that?
I don't find that, or we don't find that step to be productive in any way.
Fighting the UN is a losing battle. At best, it's a naive strategy. At worst, it's an affront to law-abiding nations across the world.
All right. Jeremiah 49, verse 16. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith Yahweh. Also Edom shall be a desolation. Every one, right, that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahweh. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Right, thus says the Lord. Right. So everything that we just witnessed, man, is gonna get worse, and it's gonna ultimately end up in a boots on ground war, and that'll be the end of it. Right. So whether they know it or not, they moving right as planned, but not how Esau Edom planned it, but how the Lord planned it. Right, because Scripture tells us the preparations in the heart in man and the answer of the tongue are from the Lord. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? The Most High is in control of good and evil. Right, Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7. All right, so I'll end with that, man. Yahweh Shem Al these precepts in this video were edifying. Call Holoyim La, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Harakha Kodash, Shalom Yashar Allah.